All language reflects the position we're in the world.
Huh.
What would it be for me to wear neutral clothes? Is gray neutral? No, that's a statement.
Phil, for you. Yeah, I like wearing black.
Is black neutral?
No, it's like what people in the theater wear.
So it has an arty connotation. It can have a goth connotation.
Yeah, you're right.
Um,
If you wear too much color, you could be gay.
You might think brown would be neutral, but there's nothing neutral about the brown shirts.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, good callback to the Nazis. Yeah, brown shirts.
So
Huh.
what would be, and I'm picking what would be a neutral thing to wear by analogy with what would be a neutral thing to say.
That you're wearing?
No, what would be a neutral thing to say? When we use words, we're showing the world
what we're wearing.
who we are.
Yeah.
Our choice of words.
Am I someone that's inclusive?
For example.
Am I someone that's in a community with Jewish folks, and I would say the Jews live there? Or, darn it, that's the wrong one. Am I the one that would say Jews live there? The people, my people I'm in a community with live there. They're Jews. Versus distancing the Jews.
Why are we speaking in English, Phil? That is not the language that's always been spoken in this part of Texas. The mere fact that we're asking about the and a reflects the current political situation in which English is the dominant language here. We could have been using
el and la.
We could have been doing that. If we knew how to speak Native American languages,
yeah,
logically we could have been doing that. I'm not saying we should have been, or that there's any good reason for us to do that. I'm just saying, it turns out that the fact that we're speaking in a certain way is reflecting something about who we are and what the world's like.
Yeah.
This is trivial. This is not like a deep claim about the world being messed up or anything like that. It's just saying the language we use reflects where we are in the world and how we live our lives,
and how we perceive ourselves,
friends, and all sorts of stuff like that. What would it be for that to be neutral? Would it would mean, well, I'm neutral in my relationships to all other people? What does that mean? How can I be neutral in my relationship to people? I have some friends and some other people that are not so much friends,
and maybe strangers. Yeah,
I
that
have
are
a
probably
position.
A little fearful of.
Exactly right. Yeah.
Huh. And you really got me thinking, David. I think that's why you're here. Hopefully you got everybody thinking.
I don't know that I want to overthink this, because I think there's something very simple about it.
Yeah.
Namely, when you speak, it says something about who you are.
Right.
Lots of people have been aware of that. It's a topic that you find in literature going back through the ages. People speak in different ways to reflect who they are. Much of the art of a playwright or a novelist is to give voice to characters.
Right. And we like some of them and we don't like others because of the uniqueness of that position or the way they...
And we all develop our own voice and change it in different... All the world's a stage.
I don't know that I'm aware of it, though. I would hate to use the Jews and unbeknownst to me, have those around me think that I'm distancing myself from people that are in my community.
Well, the good news is you will tend to use language that does reflect who you are. And in fact, part of who you are is the language that you use. If you were the sort of person that found it natural to talk about the blacks or the Jews, you'd be a different Phil.
But I was raised in Mississippi, and I might have some, cultural detritus that I don't want on me, that I would say something like that just because it's what I've heard, as opposed to how I want to view the world or how I want the world to be.
Why was I laughing, Phil?
I don't know.
I was laughing because you described your what might be left from Mississippi as detritus, which is, I think, a very negative term. It's the sort of stuff that gets left on, I don't know if you have to scrape it off ships or
Barnacles, yeah,
cliffs.
yeah. Like,
It's not stuff you like bringing with you. I hope
no.
you brought something good from Mississippi as well, but it seems like this way of conceiving of what you brought from there is um, involves evaluation. It's not
Well,
neutral.
I observed things and was influenced definitely by how people interacted while I was there. I remember stories. I remember,
But the fact is that presumably you have changed your way of speaking, and I guess your way of thinking in ways that have, that's what growing up is about.
yeah.
That this is not to say everything in Mississippi is problematic, but
Yeah, there's good things in
there were
Mississippi, y'all.
presumably some things that in your background that you grew away from,
Yeah.
and some things you carried with you, some values you carried with you. And um, we certainly do get confronted every now and again with things that we haven't questioned from that we grew up with.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can think of any examples from Mississippi that are like that. Some point you won't know the things you haven't questioned. It would have to be things you've already questioned
Yeah, I had
at
to.
some
Yeah.
point, because we don't know what we haven't questioned. That's the whole point. These are, as we say, the unknown unknowns.
Right. Unknown unknowns. But there can be incongruence between your present self, how you view your present self, and some past behavior, almost default
Absolutely.
behavior.
Absolutely.
And you have to have some awareness to say, wait, what does that mean? And how am I presenting in the world versus where do I think I am?
I found a case like this quite recently. So when I was growing up, there was um, this huge problem with um, this drug thalidomide that led to it was given to pregnant women, and babies were born missing limbs and with all sorts of problems. So this was a catastrophic period in I guess in the uh, I would say in the 60s and 70s. It was around there, I think, but I don't remember the history perfectly. Um, a schoolyard insult.
We talked about this in our previous conversation.
Okay.
Yeah, this became something you would say to someone.
Right. But actually the expression that was used in Britain was flid, and people would
Lid.
accompany this with a gesture that was this would be like 7-year-olds would do this, accompany this with a gesture that was supposed to kind of mimic a disabled person.
Yeah.
And they would use this just to insult anyone. And I found when I was thinking about someone bad doing something bad in my head the other day, that came up, that just passed through my mind, that word. Like it's still there.
Flid.
Yeah. It's still there from, even though it was, by the time I was in my teens, people had recognized
Did
that.
you use it?
I don't have any memory of it, but it was normal currency. I think I would guess I did. Like it was when I was 6 or 5. I don't know. I don't have any
No,
memory,
I'm
but
getting some
I
ideas
think it
now.
was very, very normal.
Yeah.
I'll tell you something I know I said. So people in Britain back up, definitely until I was in my 20s, would refer to the corner stores that were run largely by Indian or Pakistani immigrants. They would refer to them as the Paki shop.
Mm.
That
Doesn't seem like a negative thing. Packy shop.
didn't seem negative
Pakistanis.
to anyone
Seems
at the
kind of
time.
fun.
But for a start, it conflated people of Pakistani and Indian origin, and it othered.
Mm.
The thing about othering is it's not just that you other one group. You put all sorts of different people who are not, you think, like you together in one bundle.
So Indians, Pakistanis, there was a bunch of people that fell
I
under
don't think
Packy shop.
anyone would have cared if a particular store happened to be run by a Thai immigrant
They just called a packy shop.
So there was like a skin tone side to it. There's no question
Yeah.
that it involved racist oversimplification about groups of people. And it's not standard currency anymore for that exact reason. But I know that that was the way everyone talked. Now, you might say that some would definitely say it's an epidemic of wokeness that led us to, police this type of usage and stop it. It's like, I don't know about an epidemic of wokeness, but I don't think it was doing any good. I don't think it cost us that much to change.
Yeah.
Um,
When I was growing up, man, this is a difficult one, but when I was growing up in Mississippi, I would use the N word. I'm
Yeah.
not going to say it here, but I would use that
Yeah.
up until I was probably 14 and 15, maybe 13. I don't remember when, but I'd be around other people that would use it too.
Right.
And just, um, I joked around with a buddy of mine in workout class. I want to still bring some of the energy of that child into the present moment through comedy,
Right.
through like ideas of humor. And we were talking about superpowers, and I was asking him, what would your superpower be if you had one?
Uh-huh.
And oftentimes it's to fly, or maybe it's to swim underwater forever. And I told him, well, I just want to be able to say the N word when I'm singing along to rap music in public, just for that moment to live in a space where I feel safe to just sing along and be present with this song. And I think that'd be so powerful because when I'm alone in my car, I sing along to music in my car, and I say the N word there. I'm not going to say it here, but if I was alone in my car listening to, Tupac or Biggie or Kendrick Lamar or something, I would just flow along and I would feel big and running it feel good. Um,
Right. And and whatever else you think about N-word, it's not neutral.
it's certainly not neutral, and I
And
certainly
so the
won't use it
question
now.
is, right, and the question is, that's an extreme case, but what would it be for a word to be neutral?
What would it be for a word to be neutral?
Not clear.